Hey friends, welcome to my podcast, Before and After. My name is Kristie Polk, I'm your host, and here we talk about navigating grief before and after the loss of a loved one. Whether you've lost someone yourself or if you find yourself supporting a close friend or family member who's experiencing loss, I hope you find something really meaningful in the following episode.
But so oftentimes, people want to measure their pain against others.
Oh.
And people say that the worst times are funerals and weddings in a family. That you can see the ugly in a family. They wouldn't have seen ugly.
I'll say there was no ugly.
I mean, and that is...
I mean, like none.
So it's not... When people say, oh, you know, in the wedding.
Yeah.
I mean, I was there for both weddings.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. When you have love and grace and you give people space, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah. Well, I think the worst
ugly.
pain is yours. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I mean, the worst pain is mine. The worst pain is yours. The worst pain is yours.
Right.
I mean, that's the worst pain because that's what you feel.
Right.
But so many people
we
feel
don't do
like
that in the
there's a
family.
measurement, you know, like, but my pain's worse because,
Right.
you know, and
Right.
There's nothing about that heals, though.
Right.
There's
Nothing.
nothing.
No.
There's-
Well,
and there is something about that hurts. You know, to minimize somebody else's pain.
Absolutely.
And so it's, to me, that's an either or. Either I meet my need or I meet your need. But actually, if you just acknowledge both, everybody's need gets met.
Exactly.
Right.
And I think
Right.
that's a huge part of, gosh, I hate to say success. 'Cause, I
right.
mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but the success that your family has had in navigating such a huge loss has been just that space.
And there's
not
no time
measuring.
limit. There's not a time limit.
Right, and
either.
there's not expectation.
grace to one
it's just
another.
acceptance
Well, you know,
of where you are, wherever that is, how
Yeah.
you are.
For each day, each minute. Yeah.
Moment, yeah.
I used to say to the kids when they were young, and especially into their teenage years, you know, some situation would come up, and I would say, I don't know. I've never been this old on a Wednesday with a
Right.
son at this age and
Yes.
a daughter at this age in this exact situation. This is my first time here today in this situation, and so we're going to need to figure this out because I don't know. You know, there's a lot as a parent, hopefully, I do know, and there's some wisdom, some experience I can bring to the table, and certainly there's a level of authority that needs to be recognized whether I'm right or wrong, right? So that we can hope to have any sense of order moving forward at all. But having established that, right now I don't know.
Right.
We're going to figure this out, and some of it might be trial and error. And I might say the wrong thing, and I might respond the wrong way. And maybe you should have been heard, and I couldn't hear you, or maybe I listened too long and enabled you, like empowered you falsely or something. But we're going to figure it out. And I think that attitude and that thing that was already established in our family sort of just got carried over in this because none of us have been here before.
Right.
How are we supposed to know?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. And here's the thing, I can't even say because I'd never lost a child before. Because no two children are alike. Even if I had,
Right.
I would have
It would
never
be
lost
totally
the
different.
next one or whatever it is.
Right,
I
right.
It's all different.
You've never lost Bray before.
I've never lost Bray
Bray.
before. That's it. That's it. You know, and so I think probably just some of those things got carried over into. I think this is how we handle things. So
Right.
let's keep doing that because if nothing else, it's what we know. You know, and again that brings us back to my gratitude for my education and for my experiences in life and for my faith and all those things that. You know, the scripture that
The foundation.
says, you know, for such a time as this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's that. I think that while I never wanted to be prepared for this, because I never wanted to go through this,
Right.
I think that I think that God in his infinite grace and mercy and wisdom did do some things along the way, even like bringing y'all into my life, along the way, so that we could survive,
Together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things that happened at the funeral home, so I was, Bray and being on the spectrum, and Nan being on the spectrum, and that relationship being so close, and again, I guess because being on the spectrum, you need really concrete. Literal or figurative doesn't work. And so at the end of the meeting, Nan said, is Bray here? I want to see her.
Yeah.
And the funeral home guy said, no, you don't want to see her. Do you remember Nan's reaction?
I just think all I can yeah, I really do, or something. I don't.
Yeah, she's like, oh yes, I do.
I really do. Uh-huh.
I mean, it was just like, you don't know me.
You don't know.
She was emphatic.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so Nan.
Yeah, it was so Nan.
But I mean,
Yeah.
obvious. She needed to
She
see
needed
Bray.
it. Yeah.
did.
She needed it.
She
I don't think her brain could wrap around.
that Bray.
The
But
truth.
she was really gone. Yeah.
Yeah, and I get that. That's
But
why I
even
wanted
there,
to see her
again,
too.
grace was extended, and
Yeah.
y'all, even the man of the funeral home was like, okay, then.
Yes.
And you guys
This is
got
not
to
our normal thing. We can
No.
prepare her,
No,
and
yeah. Yeah,
So,
and I know I saw her. I think Harry did not. I can't remember if Mackenzie did.
I can't remember.
Yeah, and
I was really focused on Nan at that point.
Yeah,
Because she was solo.
yeah. No, I really appreciate that. And I think actually, my initial response in the car back from Virginia, I think probably fed that solo feeling too. I think in her mind, this is not what I meant at all, but I think in her mind, I drew a quick line. Like imagine us in the front seat, and no, I'm not going there. I'm not talking about it. I'm not emoting. I am driving. I'm keeping this motor vehicle between two lines on a highway until I get to the house. And so I think I unintentionally shut her out and shut her down. And I, of course, did not mean to do that.
Right. But she knows that too.
She does, but I think she's still hurt. I think it's still. I think, and I don't mean like she's
Like
hurt
anger hurt.
in the way that she needs to forgive me.
Right.
I don't think
Right,
it's
right.
that, but I think it has impeded her ability to grieve. Because I
Yeah.
think she kind of went to soldier mode and doesn't like.
Right. Oh, this is
doesn't know
what
how
I
to
should
get-
do.
this is-
Right.
Right.
'Cause
Well,
Nana
she has a
so
hard
much.
time navigating anyway.
Right. And
so-
she'll say, what is it that I'm supposed to do?
Yeah.
And she often looks to Kristie for that.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you've done that for her for many, 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 many years.
Yeah.
And so I could see how she would say, okay, so this is,
Yeah.
she's telling me this person I love and trust and
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
that I can count on is telling me, okay, we're not emoting.
Right. Right.
So now can I emote? Kind of thing.
Is it time?
Right. Exactly. And,
Can I do it now?
yeah. And it was very unintentional, and
And not intent. I mean, it wasn't what you were saying. At
it's
all.
not. It's not.
But
Although
it's what she heard.
Although
really
there might have
was.
been some.
It was
There
what
might
she
have been
was
some.
saying.
I
That's
need
why
you to
she
hold it
wouldn't
together
do
right
the
now.
phone.
Because
Right.
I can't, yeah.
Right. But you didn't mean
No.
don't grieve, don't
or
emote.
to prolong it or any of
Yes.
those things.
You just meant let's get home.
Yeah, you have to be strong for me this time.
Right.
I got to get us home.
Right.
And I, it's one of those things like I can recognize that it's very unfortunate. And at the same time, and maybe I should, so y'all tell me what you think, but I can't take any responsibility for that. I just did the best I could do.
And
Well, I
you
think
did what
you
you
do it
had
again.
to do.
You do it the same
That's
way
what I'm
again
saying,
if
right.
you had, if
Right.
you had to. I'm
Right.
just
So
saying.
like I'm sorry it happened that way
Right.
and it wasn't intentional and it is likely unfortunate, especially from her perspective.
Right.
And yet I don't know how to take responsibility for it because I don't know how to wish it went another way.
Right.
Right.
So
Well, it's one of those situations where, I'm sorry I have to, a dislocated shoulder. I'm going to have to really hurt you
Yes,
to get it
to
back
get it
in
back,
place.
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
the same kind of
And
premise.
it's unfortunate that this is the
but
path to healing.
but she needed to be at home
Yeah.
too.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't
Yes.
just you.
No.
She needed to be around family.
Right.
She, in her loss. So it's one of those unfortunate things that, yes, it really hurt. And I'm sure, knowing Nan, she's like, yeah, that really hurt, but Kristie had to.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think there's she shouldn't have done that kind of thing. I've never
Right.
done that.
Well, and I know that she wanted to, and I don't want to talk too much about her. She's not here, but I know that she wanted to be there for me. And she and I have talked about this, but you two were there for me and in full force. And so I know she struggled to figure out where does she fit in. But looking back as best I can, and what I've told her is, Nan, they took care of all of us, and I think you needed to be on the receiving end of that as well.
And she was.
Absolutely.
And she was.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway,
I mean,
and
there was a lot of my time with Nan.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, after the plans were made, I mean,
Right.
Robin did the cooking, cleaning, emotional caregiving, and so I mean, Nan and I probably
I stayed at the house. I was safe at the house.
Nan and I probably spent the most time together.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll say I don't remember spending a lot of time with Nan. I remember,
And I don't either.
I remember that 10-minute thing in my head of keeping up with where everybody was, but it's like somebody was always with Nan.
Probably you.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of
it was
times.
probably you. Yeah.
And again,
maybe
just because
Jessica.
everybody
Yeah.
had
Or
couples,
Tati.
Yeah, maybe talk.
everybody, had couples. And when Tati
Yeah.
came too, I mean, her and Mackenzie
Yeah.
are siblings, so she was
Yeah.
was with Liz and him. So, and Nan just was lost.
Uh-huh.
I mean, everybody was, but Nan,
Right.
Nan's navigation system is a little skewed anyways.
Yeah.
And then you add this calamity.
Right. And no natural partner, no coupleship.
Yeah.
So
Right.
like weird.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I so appreciate that. I do have a couple flashing memories. And I think this is after the funeral, but we're all sitting outside, which is hilarious to me about like considering how I feel about lawn furniture in the front yard, but whatever.
There were no holds bar in that. Is that
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
When it comes to funerals.
And so we actually
did
had-
camping chairs in the front yard. Yes, ma'am.
It wasn't
On the
just camping
sidewalk.
chairs,
No, it was
though.
a sofa.
It was a couch.
Oh, it was. You're
Yes,
right.
because here's one of the other
Yeah.
flashing
I
memories.
sat on the sofa.
yes.
I don't remember how I got there though.
I do. Your son
Oh, good.
and your husband, being the heroes that they are, they ran to Braylon's storage unit.
Because it was going to
That's right.
expire, yeah.
It was
right.
about to be done, and
They were
I
gonna
didn't know how
spend
to
everything
pay it or
else.
anything. Right on top of everything.
It's like
There
pay
was-
it or we're locking our stuff
Yes.
up. Like no.
So they
It was
jump
in our garage for a long time.
Yes.
Yes.
So they jump in the truck and they head up
To the store.
30 minutes away or whatever, and
Went
on-
to the wrong one first.
Oh gosh, of course. And they unload it all, and then they're like, "Where do you want us to take it?" I don't have any idea.
Right, because there's no space here.
There's no space here, and we're crammed with people and stuff, and this is just days after she's passed, so 2 days, I think. I mean, they went almost immediately.
No, I think it was the next day.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it was
Yeah, because the 31st was March. I mean, 30.
Right.
She
Yeah.
passed 31st.
It should have
the
been-
first. It had to be out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was insane, but they did. I mean, absolutely heroic, and just went and
Then put it
Brought
in
the
our
couch.
garage.
put it in their put it in their garage. But we had her outdoor. It's like a love seat and a chair with the table that has the glass
And the front lawn.
it's like all woven in it, not wicker, but something like that. Anyway, and so that got set on my front lawn
But I think
with camp chairs,
I
and
think
we just
that
sat out
was
there.
after the funeral.
It was.
I think it was because I remember.
Because you cooked ribs
I have no.
and mac and cheese.
I'm sure somebody brought it. I
Somebody
don't think
brought
we
them.
cooked it. I can't imagine Harry cooking anything.
No, you did. You cooked it.
Did he put it in the oven?
I don't know how I cooked it,
Yeah,
but
I
I
have no
know he
idea.
cooked it. And you made mac and cheese. And it was Mike was there. I think family was still there, and
Yeah,
it was
Clint
right
was
before
there.
they were leaving.
Clint and
I think
CJ,
was
yes.
the reason we
Grandma
were getting
Sal.
together.
Was CJ? It
But that
Nicholas.
was after the funeral, and it was
Nicholas was
just-
there because I'd
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
met Nicholas. I
Was
only
CJ
knew
there?
CJ.
Because I was talking to him, and I can't remember if he was there or online. See, that's what I'm saying. This is my own nephew. I can't remember. Like, no, I can't. I just have.
They both came.
I hate
didn't
that.
they?
I feel like he did, but I don't know because now I can't fit in when he had his son. See, I think he couldn't come because of
I don't think he came. It was just Nicholas with
and Stacy and Clint.
Right. It was just the
Okay.
three of them
See, I don't
because
know
I
Harry's
thought
brother.
he was
Yes,
CJ.
I do remember
And you were
Harry's
like, no,
brother
that's
being
Nicholas.
there.
I'm like, I don't know who
That
Nicholas
was-
is.
Okay, but I just remember sitting outside
on the furniture.
looking so tacky. I mean, I didn't care that it was tacky, but it was
You
just
didn't.
funny to me. And we're out there, and
This
we're
is
just
how far we've fallen.
yes, telling stories, laughing. That was so healing for me.
It was.
And I love that people were talking about her and sharing memories, and we're crying and we're laughing and we're talking, and it was awful and
we still do that.
wonderful. We still
Yeah,
do.
but we
yes,
also
still
were
do.
sharing about what people said at the funeral about her when they came through the line and stuff. We were also sharing about those kind of things because they said different things to different people. And like Nancy Joe and I were on the aisles watching and
I was
trying
gonna
to
say,
direct.
were y'all up in the line with me?
No, we watched like water. Do you need water? Who needs what?
Okay.
You know, I felt like the Secret Service. That's
Yes.
really, that's how I felt.
Yes,
That's how
yeah,
we felt
we were,
the whole
and
day.
we were cutting eyes at
Yes.
each other. We
We're
just
like, are you
needed the
okay? Are we good? What do you
walkie-talkies.
need? Yeah.
But I did want to say,
Over.
talking about talk about sharing. And one of the things that I mentioned to Robin earlier, one of the really beautiful things, people tend to canonize
Yeah.
people after they've passed.
Yeah.
And only remember the wonderful good things about them and never the gosh, she was such a pain in the butt then. And that is one of the maybe one of the reasons why it's so easy to still talk so easily about Bray and to still share, because it doesn't, I'm not expected as a person who loved her but still got annoyed with her and irritated
Yes,
with her
right.
and, you know,
To forget that
I
part.
don't have to.
Talk about Saint Braylon.
Yes, exactly.
You don't have to invent.
I mean,
one
if
of
she was
those.
a real
Yeah.
living person, and
Yeah.
there is something to resonating on the good.
Sure.
It is.
Absolutely.
But you can't forget there's a whole person there, and
There's
we're
that.
all sinners,
Right.
and we all
But-
have
and
issues.
And she
sometimes-
was annoying, and she had bad habits, and she had,
Well, and
she worried me, and all
sometimes
those things.
those are the
to go-
funniest, too.
They
They
are. They really
They
like
are.
how
are.
loud she was
Yes.
sometimes.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Oh, she didn't really love clothes.
Yes.
Like,
didn't really love
oh, yeah, Bryce in
clothes.
the shower, not anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Well,
different things about her, but
yes,
they were fun.
but-
they
Yeah,
were.
They were.
I think sometimes people tend to make them something they weren't.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've never done
Yeah,
that. And I
that's
just
really
need,
important.
and
I
nobody
mean-
in the family has. I
Which
mean, I'll
gives
say,
us space to say what
Yeah.
and share
whatever
things
it is.
too.
Yeah. You don't have to filter whatever
Yeah.
you're remembering. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
because it just makes it hard when you're a friend of the family or
Yeah.
part of the extended family or
Yeah.
whatever, and you're like, well,
That's
even
not how it was at all.
And I'm like, they're like talking about the person like, you know, they were wearing a habit and going to mass on
right.
the way.
and you're like,
you
who
know,
is this person we're talking about?
Yeah, and
Oh.
I'm like, I
Oh,
just,
okay.
I
Yeah.
don't think that's,
Right.
but
No.
okay.
Yeah.
And so it just makes it hard. You
Yeah.
don't want to negate what they're saying.
Right.
And you don't want to disrespect them
Yeah.
and their grief.
Well, you know, it's
But yeah, I don't
interesting.
have to because I can be real.
That's right.
Right.
But, you know, and you just use the word disrespect, and I think it's so important because to me it is a respect to remember all of the things about my daughter.
Right.
Because she wasn't one part without the other. All of
Right.
her was all of her.
Right.
The positive, the not so positive, the jerky, selfish, whatever,
The knee-jerkly.
hilarious, funny, yes,
Yeah.
knee-jerkly. Yeah. All the little things that she did is if you removed any of that, it's no longer her. So I don't know who we're remembering.
Right.
And so, and not only that, but, and I don't know how I feel, what I believe about, like, can she hear me or not hear me? I don't know. And it's, I don't spend a lot of time wondering about
Right.
that.
Right.
And it's fine if somebody does, but I don't know that I'll get an answer, so I don't spend a lot of time there. But I sometimes imagine if she could, I wonder how uncomfortable that would be to
Be up there going,
retell
"Mom,
stories.
I wasn't like that.
Yes,
Or
and-
that's not the way it went. Remember you and I argued?
Yes,
You know,
and to feel like that part of her, just because it annoyed me or whatever, somehow like I diminish her because like
Right,
you
make
see what
her
I'm
less-
saying?
You eliminate that part
I
of her.
eliminate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like some
But I
weird
just think that's
assassination, and
beautiful.
it's all of her and all of her makes her her. And
Well,
so there's nothing off limits,
Well,
when
like
remembering her.
when we were at the concert recently,
Yeah.
we were talking and something about her wedding came up. And I was like, oh my gosh, she was driving me crazy. You're like, really?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, she's trying to tell me how to take pictures.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah. I mean, yeah, she
Yeah,
would do
that for sure.
Yeah.
That for
you
sure.
know, but
I thought you were talking
felt-
about like Bridezilla or something because that
Oh, no,
was
no, no,
she
no.
was so not that. And
No,
so I was
no,
like,
no,
really,
no,
that's interesting. What?
Yeah.
But yeah, telling you how to do your job.
Yes.
100%.
And I was like, oh my gosh, great. This is what
Yeah.
we're going to do. She's like, no, not until I know. You
Yeah.
know, and I'm like, oh my
and that was
gosh.
her autism.
Yeah.
I have to know what to expect. I have to know.
And I got
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
And
I
I'm
know,
just like,
I know.
you're now an hour late. and
Correct.
we
Yeah.
got to,
Yeah.
So, but it was safe.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's my real memory.
Yeah, right,
You know, that was
right.
the real thing
Yeah.
in my heart and mind that
Yeah.
happened between. Now, there were lots of wonderful, sweet moments.
Yeah, yeah.
I still remember at her wedding, they were putting on lipstick, and it's the funniest thing because I've heard it since then. But it's the first time I'd ever heard it. I didn't grow up in the South, remember?
Right.
So I'm a Yankee.
Okay.
I'm a damn Yankee because
We
I'm
love
a
you
Northerner
anyway.
And
who's
we
in
love
the
you
South.
anyway.
We love
and
you
won't go
anyway.
home. But anyways,
We all have something.
she was putting on lipstick, and somebody else was putting on lipstick, and she was like, "Oh no, you do not put it in the corners." My mommy taught me that a long time ago. Ladies, don't put lipstick all the way around. I didn't know that was a thing. Now, since I've been in the South and I've heard that more, but those things,
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, she taught me something
Yeah.
that I didn't even know I needed to know.
There you go.
It's too funny.
Lots of things, but that was one of them. But anyways.
Too funny. Yeah, she's good for telling you how to do your job. Whether she's ever done it before or not, doesn't even.
Yes.
You can't.
Well,
don't let
and
the
She gave the
details.
best advice.
She did.
Whether she
did.
lived up to it herself or
Correct.
not.
She really did.
She knew
Well, and
what
her
the right thing
intention,
was.
even
Yeah.
when it could get annoying,
Yes.
her intention was
Always
always
good.
Always good. I mean, I remember doing Liz and McKenzie's engagement pictures.
That's what I was thinking of. Oh, does she need to have her hair different? Should I move this? Do you want
Yeah.
that flower there? I'm like, oh my gosh.
And-
Nancy Joe, how do you do your job without her?
I mean, she was like that at the wedding.
Yes.
Yeah.
The kids, and I was like,
Yeah.
That's
but
right. She's
but
worked
I
with herself.
love,
Yeah.
But you know what? I mean, other people have done that to me when I've worked
Yeah.
professionally, But Bray wasn't trying to show me that she knew
She
more.
was not.
She was sincerely
helping.
helping.
She
In her mind. In her mind, she really was. In her mind, she was
Yeah.
being your best helper
Yeah.
ever.
And that's really was her goal.
It was, absolutely.
Imagine raising that.
Yeah.
My job was to be mom, but she's going to help me.
Yes.
Yes.
But mom, should we do this? Mom, are we going to run out of gas? Have we ever run out of gas?
Right.
Ever?
Right.
Why
Where
are
did
you
get that
7
notion?
worried about gas?
Yeah.
I'm your mom. I want to know where your shoes are.
Yeah, right.
Because you don't have them on your feet.
Correct. Right. We're 30 minutes. We've driven 30 minutes from home. She has no shoes on, but she's going to ask me about gas in the car.
That's a great
Hers was one of the easiest weddings I ever photographed because she posed everybody.
Yeah, right. Right.
There you
And
go.
she's
course
the
she
bride, and that's what she wanted.
So there you go.
She's like, okay, I want these people. Come here, stand here.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
good.
Okay, good job.
There we have it.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Right.
But anyway.
Thanks for watching this episode of Before and After. I hope it was as meaningful for you to watch as it was for me to make. Next time, invite a friend. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can also follow me on other platforms. I've listed everything in the description.